Hola a todos, hello everyone. I'm going to do a small demonstration for the in-game camera feature. So now we have an item that is called the handheld camera. Once you use it, you will go to this UI that will allow you to take pictures. It's as easy as just you click and that's it. You already have a picture. There is a lot of details on this task that I wanted to include. So, for example, um, once we do the animation, there is a kind of smooth transition, but it is even better when I have a lot of zoom and I remove the UI. Uh, the idea is to avoid like strong movement, so it does a small zoom as it returns to the third person. And it happens the same to the first person. The UI is open once the camera is close enough, and to make a smooth transition, it will also come back to the original zoom once you close it. So as I mentioned, you just need to open it and you can just press click to take a picture. But we also have a bunch of different parameters to control. So the one that I already mentioned is zoom. You can open the advanced UI mode of the camera using the F key or the key that you have assigned for building. So when I press F and I move the scroll wheel, I can zoom in and zoom out a lot. And I can also control the zoom here if I want. I mean, if I don't want to scroll or I don't have a scroll, I can also move directly the UI for that. We also have a second kind of slider here. It's more like a roulette that allows us to control the depth of field distance. So when it is on the max value, it is just disabled. But when I start to moving this value, it starts to move the distance required for the blur. So here I'm going to get it very close and take this picture. I can also change the aspect ratio. So there is an animation when I update the aspect ratio, and there are also two kind of grids. The one that is used for portrait, and one that is used for landscape, that is based on the rule of thirds. So I'm going to go to portrait mode and adjust the right amount of distance for the blur. I think kind of here, and take a picture. As we can see, also the preview is updated based on the aspect ratio. The UI also changes as there is part of the UI that is updated based on the aspect ratio, so it's going to change. All the pictures that I take are stored on my computer, so I can press advanced options and press click here. This is a button to take me to a folder where I can see all the pictures that I have been taking. If I decide that I don't want those pictures to use space in my computer, I can just go to escape menu and limit the amount of photos to 0. If I have 5 photos, for example, what will happen is that the oldest photo will be updated. So I'm going to take another photo of some tomatoes. And once I go back to the folder, I'll notice that there are now 5 photos, including the tomatoes, and the oldest ones that I already have there are deleted. So I'm going to go back and select unlimited, as I prefer to have all the copies of the images. So there is of course there is also the option of saving the image. As I mentioned, all the images are already saved on your computer, so this save means save to the server. So once I do that, an item is created that I can use on a frame, but it is also sent to the server to be evaluated by server admins. I mean, depends on the server configuration. There is a photo once I go to a folder new that is like the same photo that I took, but like with a low quality. That is because when you are on the editor, I mean, this is going only happen to developers, you can see the compressed version of the image that's going to be uploaded to the server. So you can decide what is the right, the max value of compression you want to set based on the kind of result you want to achieve. So this is most of the features, but we also have another one that is the flash. Flash makes more sense on the night, so I'm going to change this to night. I can still take my pictures, still move the depth of field, but I can say like, not this is too dark. This is too dark. I like it to be brighter. So what you can do is just come here and activate the flash, and once I press take the photo, we can see that it's light that it's enabled for a small period of time. The light has its own shadow like in real life, so we can see here that the light projects a shadow on the objects. And similar to the flash on the real world, it has a limited distance. It's not like an infinite distance that has the light, and it works fine with the depth field configuration. There is this is the modern camera where we can set these parameters. Also, we can see the durability of the camera. We can also close it. With the durability is displayed on that battery literally. I mean, I can change the durability of this item. So that's inventory durability 25, and if I open the camera, it's now a smaller value here because the durability is reduced. In the current version, durability is only reduced when I save the photo. If I don't save the photo, it doesn't reduce durability because it's the only moment where the RPC is sent. This is something that needs to be modified for the next iteration, as the idea would be to consume durability every time it is used, whether it is saved or not. So as I mentioned, this is the modern camera, but we also have a different camera that is called the old-timey camera. The item is not set up yet, so I created a system that allows us to test different cameras. So I just need to press Ctrl+1, and when I do that, I get a message selected vintage because I switch to the other camera, and once I open it, we can notice that it's really different. First, when I go to the advanced mode, I can change the aspect ratio. This is an old camera that uses this fixed value. If we don't want that, that's really easy to modify on the prefab. I can't change the flash. This is like those old cameras that you can see in the movies that work with a light that is really bright and burns every time you take a picture, so you can't really control it. The flash is always going to be on. Also, the zoom is way more limited. I can only zoom just a little bit, and it's slower. It really feels like it is heavier. Okay, so I take the pictures, and we can see that it has a flash, and also the flash is way slower than the other flash. So this kind of parameters can be set on the editor. So those are done using something that is called a scriptable object. So here we have the scriptable objects for the modern camera and for the vintage camera. I'm going to show the vintage cameras, is the one that we are using. And the vintage camera, for example, has a different amount of field of view allowed than the modern camera. That's why it has less zoom, but also the speed is reduced. That's why it feels like it's slower to zoom in and out. We can also control how much time the flash is on, what is the intensity of the flash. For example, I'm going to set that really high value for that. I'm going to increase the duration of the flash. I mean, how much time is the light on, and how much time it takes to go off. That's really exaggerated value just for the test. So I come here and I take the picture. I can see that the light was on for a lot of time, and it also takes a lot of time to come back to the normal value. So this is it. Going to display later how to create different cameras and configure them, but this is most of what the feature already includes. Thank you everyone. Bye bye.